Okay, good evening and welcome to session number 23 of the Stay Home Spartans lockdown sessions. This is a bit of a strange one now because touch rugby has restarted in a fashion. So most of the guys that are on Zoom that would normally do this on a Monday are all back playing rugby this evening. It is a fantastic thing. I am glad to see that we are finally beginning to make some sort of a return to rugby, but it's a little bit strange. I'm presenting to nobody for the purposes of this video for now. So if you go through this video, guys, okay, remember to have a look at your surroundings, have a look at what you're training on, make sure it's safe, make sure that you're not training in socks on a wood floor, or there's nothing that you're going to trip over, nothing that you can bump into and hurt yourself. It's really important to have a look at those things around you whenever you're training as well. And also, this is a kind of a one-size-fits-all kind of workout. So if you want to make things a little bit harder, you can do that. If you need to take things a step back, you can also do that as well. And I'll go through a few different alternatives and progressions and regressions to some of the exercises that we're going through today. So I suppose we had better get started. So we're going to start off, as always, with a little bit of a warm-up, and then we're going to look at some stability work where we can build into, some stability work where we can build in some injury prehab kind of stuff, so we can hopefully head off any injuries before they happen. That's kind of the idea behind that. So let's get going. We're going to start off with just 5 walkouts to begin with, guys. So again, just into that feet just over shoulder width apart. We're just going to come into folding at the hips, walk out into that press up position, and from there push back up into a standing position. So we're just going to go for 5, nice and easy. And again, each time, just try and keep the legs as straight as you can. They don't have to be perfectly straight, but you should feel that stretch coming down through the hamstrings into the hips. So that's number 4, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll say that's number 5 anyway. From there, we're going to come down into all fours. I'll turn slightly side on so you guys can see what's happening. And we're just going to come into camel and cat. So as you breathe in, look ahead. As you breathe out, look back between your own legs as you breathe in. Look forward as you breathe out. Look back between your own legs. And again, go at your own pace. Don't force the movement. Just trying to get movement from the back. So make sure you're using hips as well as the back. We're just coming into that arch and round what we're going for. So we do have somebody having joined us. Ali, welcome. So I've already made a start because I wasn't 100% sure about who was going to be here or not. So we're just coming into a little bit of a warm-up whenever you're ready. But for now, guys that are watching on YouTube, one hand on the back of the head, elbow goes to opposite knee and up into the air. We're going to go for 5 on each side. Big curl right in. Try and get elbow to actually touch opposite knee. Big twist. Drive that up into the air, keeping both knees grounded into the floor. We'll go for 5 or 6 on the right. And then same thing, 5 or 6 on the left. So one hand back of the head, opposite knee, and twist to the ceiling, or if you're doing this outdoors in the garden, and up to the ceiling. Just that deep twist. From there. Once we've done 5 or 6 of those, we're going to come into just a dynamic hamstring stretch. So you'll be lying flat onto your back from that point, and then once you're in that position, just take a right leg. I'm going to imagine I'm going to be trying to kick this wall behind me or this radiator behind me. So I'm just leg straight. I'm just coming into that straight leg kick 10 times on the right. Make it quite dynamic. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, you can straighten that left leg along the floor. Just make that a little bit tighter through the hamstring. For me, that's tight enough. But again, you can gauge that as much as you see fit. Once you've done 10 on the right, you're obviously going to then balance it out. Do 10 on the left, Same thing, that little curl up each time. So we're actually slowing things down a bit today. A little bit less HIIT work, not as much high intensity, a bit more strength focused today. But we'll go through that in a little bit. So we've got our stability section first. Then last little bit of the warm up, all I'm going to do, arms out wide to the side. I'm just going to come into just rocking the knees from side to side. Just that little turn. If you want to make that a little bit more advanced, all we have to do is lift heels up off the floor. So we try and get a whole lower body twist. Just loads the core a little bit more, but don't feel you have to at this stage. You can still keep feet planted on the floor and just come into that just twist, because all we're looking to do is to loosen up to begin with. So our first one that we're actually going to look at is from this lying down position on the floor. What we're going to look at is stability now. I'm going to try and drive my elbows against the floor, so pushing them against the floor. And I'm going to try and lift as much of my back off the floor just by pushing my elbows down. You can go at whatever angle, you can go in close, you can go out wide. I prefer somewhere in between. But all it is just going to be a squeeze, arch up for 2 seconds and relax. So it's a really small movement. That big squeeze, driving the shoulders back and down and relax. Driving the shoulders back and down and relax. We're just going to spend a minute and a half, 90 seconds, just in that upper body squeeze. Should feel it right, quite an intense squeeze between the shoulder blades. Keep the hips on the floor. Your head can come off the floor or your head can stay on the floor, whichever you feel more comfortable with. I feel more comfortable leaving my head on the floor and just merely maximising that squeeze between the shoulders as much as I can. But that is up to you. This is a real nice one for shoulder health. So again, we're going for 90 seconds. You can play around with that position a little bit. You'll find you tuck your elbows in a bit tighter, you'll feel it a little bit lower down the back. If your elbows a bit wider, you'll feel it much higher up on the back. So have a play with it. Play with different areas, different parts of the body. See where is most effective for you. We're then going to come up onto our feet for the next one, but we've still got another 30 seconds of this. Doesn't really matter how many reps you get in. Try and get the maximum squeeze through the upper back that you can. Now to get your back off the floor, make sure that you're not doing a sit-up, you're not just crunching, you're not just bringing your body up, using your core. Make sure the movement comes from your arms, comes from your shoulders, that big drive back down into the floor. Good. Okay. From there, we're going to come onto our feet. We're going to do the same thing that we did last week. So I'm just going to see here a second. Sorry, I'm just going to mute your microphone there. So what we're going to come into is up onto our feet, and we're going to come into just stiff-legged deadlift. So single leg balance, and all we're looking to do is just bring both hands down. Try and touch the shoelaces, come back up. We'll go for 5 reps right, 5 reps left. And just try and keep that balance. As soon as you're done, just make sure you straighten up in between each rep as much as you can. Again, fold over, get that stretch down through the back of the leg, down through the hamstring, maybe through the lower back a little bit, but it should be mostly hamstring. As soon as you're done 5 right, 5 left, then I want you to swap. You're going to come into 5 single leg squat. So rather than folding forward, you're just going to try and balance on one foot and try and come into as low a squat as you can. Keep your foot flat on the floor. Ultimate goal, if you can, is to get your knee onto the floor. But if you can't, don't worry, we're going to be working a little bit on that as we go forward. But 5 right again. As soon as you've done 5 right, you'll then do 5 left. So again, don't worry about getting super deep into it. It's more about maintaining stability. If you wobble a little bit, that's a good thing. because the more you wobble, the more your body adjusts, improves for the next time round. Something to practice. Good. Once you've done 5 right, 5 left on the 2 separate exercises, we then swap again and we're into single leg deadlift again. So we're back to those 5. We're just going to cycle twice round on those. So you'll end up doing 10 single leg deadlifts on each leg and then 10 single leg squats on each leg. So it's not about flying through them. That being said, if you are pretty quick at them, if your balance is really good, whoopsie daisy, there he says, throws himself off. If your balance is pretty good and you're repping these out, if you've got time for an extra set, go for it, that's fine. And then obviously you'll do your second set of 5 single leg squats as well. So like I say, we've got something that's a little bit more strength based, a little bit slower than what we've done before. Now again, you can take this at your own pace, but you guys can throw in, we're going to work up based on time obviously, but you know, if you want to throw in a few extra sets, so you want to make it harder, don't be afraid to press pause and you get a few extra rounds in here and there where you can work through it. I'm going to keep it dead basic, 3 sets of 10 of each exercise that we're going for. It's not a huge amount that we're going for, but we're going to start off from the bottom and start to work our way up really. Now for this next one, you'll probably want a good bit of padding for the knees. So if you've got a mat, double it over, give yourself an extra few layers, or if you've got a cushion, you can drop that onto the floor. If you've got a cushion, you can drop that onto the floor and you can use that. So what we're going to do is do a kneeling leg extension. So you're going to keep yourself up as tall as possible. Tuck your toes in behind. Don't worry, I'll do a side facing view in just a second. If you've got any extra weight, you can throw it across your chest. And all you're going to do is lean back, pause for a second, and draw yourself back up to vertical. So with that, lean back as far as you can. Hold for a second and back up to vertical. So again, I'm going to show that from the side. I'm keeping my body in a straight line. We're going to lean back 1 unit, hold for a second and come back up. The further back you can lean, the more stretch, the more strain you put through the quads and back up. Now again, if you get any knee pain while doing this one, which some people might depending on injury history and whatnot, try untucking your toes so your feet are flat on the floor. Exercise remains the same. You won't be able to go back as far, but you may find that takes some of the edge off. If it's still painful, if it's still uncomfortable, forget about it, okay? We'll just come back to it, throw in just a few body weight squats. Should never be painful. Uncomfortable, difficult, maybe, but should never be painful. Right, so we're going for 3 sets of 10. It's simple. I have no idea what number I'm on because I can't talk and count at the same time. But we'll say that's 1 set. We'll say that's 10. Now, the pause in this one is really, really important. Okay, so I'm just shaking out in between sets. I'm only going to take about 30 seconds between sets. If you need a bit longer, that's fine. Hit pause for a few seconds. Give yourself a little bit more rest. The pause in this one's really important, especially if you're quite explosive, if you're quite quick on your feet. You want to try and get as much benefit from this as possible. So if you are actually just dropping back and back into it, you're not getting as much out of the move as you could. I want you to come back, again, really stretch back, matrix style, and then from there, back up to vertical. So it's that pause is really, really important. Okay, I'm starting set 2. So again, 3 sets altogether is what we're looking for. And it's 10 reps per set. And again, you can make this more difficult. Yes, you could add more reps if you really wanted. But I would say your best bet is if you've got some light weight, even if you don't have weights, you know, full water bottle, just held in, will just add a little bit of spice to that workout. Just adds a little bit extra to it. So again, that is loading the quad muscles, pulling back to vertical each time. So that's 2 sets. Again, I'm going to give myself 30 seconds, give or take. You know, you could go all out with this one if you've got like a weighted vest, dumbbells, kettlebells. I know some of you guys do have different bits of kit at home. Feel free to go for it. You know, and again, the higher the weight is, the more challenging it becomes. Because again, whenever you lean back, that means it's at the end of the lever. So it means it takes more effort for you to bring it back to standing really, or back to being tall. So I'm going to go for set 3. Off we go. Same thing again. Remember that pause at the bottom of each one. So again, that 10 seconds. I'm not sure, Emma's just made dinner in there in the kitchen. I'm not sure just how much chili she's been cooking with, because every time I breathe in, I could just feel it catch at the back of my throat. And that's in the next room. So the next one's going to be a hamstring exercise. We're not going to take any rest on it. We're just going to do 10 right, 10 left, 10 right, 10 left for 3 sets. Because rest for one should be work for the other. I'm giving you a bit of grief here on the video. Again, can't count and do them and talk at the same time, so I think that's 10, so I'm going to leave it there. So we're going to go straight into our second exercise. Now this is a little bit tricky because you've got to be your own resistance. You've got to be your own resistance for this one. If you do have a flatmate or a teammate, they can actually help you out, and you can do it that way where they resist your ankle. I don't have anybody here to help me with that, so I'm going to just do it by myself. So what I'm going to do is a hamstring curl. So I'm going to be lying belly down on the floor. Sorry guys, just let me just adjust that so we can see. So I'm going to be belly down on the floor, and what I'm going to be doing is doing a hamstring curl with one leg. So I'm just going to be curling that leg up. Now obviously there's no resistance there. I've got nothing there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my other foot, loop it on top, and I'm going to create a bit of resistance there. So just try and push. So I've got my left foot pushing down while I'm trying to push up with my right foot. I'm trying to curl right in towards the bum. And all we're going to go for is just 10 reps on each side for 3 sets. You alright in there? So again, it's just that curl right in. You might feel like your hamstrings are about to cramp. You can gauge how much effort you put into it. So again, once you've done 10 on one side, straight into 10 on the other. So you'll be pushing, this time you'll be pushing down with the right, but up with the left. Now obviously, like I said, if you have a teammate there, or a flatmate, or a partner, or a husband or wife is willing to help, you can get them to actually hold on to your heel while they pull against you. But if you're training by yourself, this is a reasonable alternative. And even though I've said in the past, you can tell how hard something is by how much I do, this is still difficult. This is just my kind of difficult. It's the stuff that gets me huffing and puffing. That's the stuff where I have to take a rest. Again, that curl right up. Try and push your hips into the floor. So try and imagine keeping your hips on the floor, but try and lift. Imagine lifting your knee off the floor as you curl in. And again, I'm on my second set already on my left side. So that means I've only got one more set on the right, one more set on the left, once I've finished this one. It's difficult to get a consistent kind of resistance on this one. But don't worry about it being super consistent, just worry about there being resistance. You want to be able to get a full range of motion. If you're pushing down so hard that you can't move your leg, you're probably pushing down too hard. Okay, so I'm going to just show this last set sideways. So you've got one foot is being curled up and down, the other foot is on top, and that provides the resistance. So it's that curling. So you're pushing down with the foot that's on top. So for me, that's my left foot. You're pulling the right foot up. Again, try and push my hips into the floor, so you should feel glutes kicking in, hamstrings kicking in. Again, if you want to squeeze in a few extra sets, great. Throw on the pause button, throw on some music and go for it. Equally, if you're doing it with a teammate, you obviously have to do, you do it for them, they'll do it for you. So you got to balance that out, so you got to obviously pause and take the time to do that. Again, just enough resistance to keep you, to get that full range of motion. And push the whole way through as well. So make sure that you're not just letting the legs drop back down, you're actually still pushing on the way down. So you've got to resist the movement in both directions. I think that's 3 sets of 10 on each side. If not, you can tell me off, you can tell me how bad I am at counting. From there, guys, just all I want you to do is, when you've done those 3 sets of 10 on each side, is stand up. All I want you to do is feet together, push your hips back, just into a hamstring stretch, stand back up, hamstring stretch, stand back up. Just come in and out a few times, because you'll probably find in round the backs of the knees being a little bit tight, being a little bit tender on that one. Good. So again, we're going to take it just again to the next stage now. This is probably the most, will drive the heart rate up the most on the legs, but what we're looking to do is, again, strength related. Anywhere between 8 and 12 reps. I'm going to go right in the middle, I'm going to go 10. But what I want is explosive squat jumps. So explosive. So what we're actually looking to do is just take 2 to 3 seconds on the way down and explode on the way up. So it becomes that 1, 2, 3, and explode up. You can shake it out in between, because I want every rep to be as explosive as possible, to drive right up into the air. So it's a couple of seconds on the way down and explode up to the top. So again, anywhere between 8 and 12. We're not trying to string them together. I mean, if you can, that's great, but it's not the goal of this one. You'll probably find your heart rate being elevated on this one anyway, but it's not the ultimate goal. Again, to be as explosive as possible. Now I'm going to superset this one with a hip bridge, so you'll be back onto your back, both feet on the floor. You can make it more of a challenge by adding a chair. I'll do that for set number 2. Oops, it is. Alright, wrecking the joint. So both feet on the floor, heels down, just into that hip bridge. Just 10 reps, nice smooth pace. If you find your lower back is painful on this one, think about curling your hips in, or think about dropping your belly button while your hips come up. There's another way of thinking about it. As soon as you've done 10, you then back onto your feet, you're back into those explosive squat jumps. I think that's 10. Again, just 3 sets of 10, nice and smooth, nice and explosive. So I'm going into set 2 already. Shake out the legs a little bit. You can take yourself a few seconds in between. Shouldn't need huge amounts of rest. If you're needing lots and lots of rest, lower the number of reps you do in the set. So if you're doing 12 reps and you're absolutely knackered, you're absolutely dying, take yourself a few extra seconds. So again, it's a full squat, a couple of seconds on the way down, drive up. So again, 10 reps. You can play about with this one as well, so you can actually have a narrower stance, or even a wider stance, where you play around with it. It'll change how that movement feels. So again, like I said, you can make the bridge even more challenging by having a chair. So I'm going to demo that for the second set. But again, it's an option. It's not a necessary option, but it's an option. So the bridge remains the same exercise as you've just done. Heels down, so heels on the chair, not soles of your feet halfway up. I don't know whether that can be seen properly, but heels on top. And again, bridges. The only big difference is these bridges are now so much higher than they were before. Make sure you're driving straight down. Don't let your feet slip across like mine just did. And again, same thing, as the hips come up, draw the belly button in towards the spine as much as you can. Drive the hips right up into it. You'll feel the hamstrings, especially with this extra range. That being said, if that's too hard, just go back to the version where your feet are on the floor. It's the same thing, it's just a slightly easier version. If you want to add weight to it, pop some weight on your lap and make sure you hold that weight. So if you've got a kettlebell or a medicine ball, you can do that. Just make sure you're balancing it so it's not going to roll up and hit you in the face. So that's 2 sets. I think that was two sets. Might have been 3. If it is 3, I'm doing a 4th. So again, same squat jumps. Give yourself 20 to 30 seconds. Grab a drink if you need to. Like I say, this one's a lot more focused on strength. So it's a lot more focused on that. So we're not looking to keep this one absolutely hammering the pace. Although that may happen. You may be fit enough to be able to keep going. So we want best quality movement that you can. If your quality drops because you're getting tired, take more rests. If your quality drops just because you've pushed to the absolute limit, drop the reps a little bit. So I want best quality movement that we can. So after this one, this is our 3rd set. You guys might be a little bit ahead of me. Because again, I find it tough to talk and count. For all I know, I could be doing 20 reps. I somehow suspect that I'm probably doing less than 10 each time. But again, nice and slow, nice and controlled, big drive. So we're trying to combine those two. Now, the next one is actually our last one, but for me, I think it's the most challenging. We're going to go for 3 sets. This one you go for as many reps as possible on each one. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll finish this one first. again, last set of bridges. I've already demoed with the chair. I'm going to go easier on this one. 10 reps, hips up, belly button in. Make sure that you're keeping that lower back as relaxed as possible. If you're arching up and you're arching your lower back, it's very easy for the lower back to come overactivated. Feel like it's starting to tighten up, especially if you've got any history of lower back injuries. So make sure we keep braced through the core. What it should feel like around the core, like somebody's put on a belt and notched it one notch too tight. Or like you're wearing a corset. For the drag artists among us, we'll know what that feels like. And again, 10 reps. Now, like I said, we're moving north. So we're working away from bottom to top. And we're coming on to upper body. Now, there are 2 variations. I'm going to go through the easiest variation first. I'll whiz through it first, and then I'll show you what the harder variation is. So the easy variation is that you do as many press-ups as possible first, then you move straight onto your hands being elevated, so your hands up on the chair, and then lastly you move your hands up even higher. So for me, I've got a dining table, so what it would be I would do as many press-ups as I could, a nice steady pace, good quality reps. As soon as I've done as many as I can, straight onto the chair. I'll do as many as I can there. As soon as I've done that, I'll move on to a higher station again, with the bottle, and do as many as I can there. That's a slightly easier version. You can make that even easier yourself by having even higher stations, or dropping your press ups to your knees, or judge it based on your own fitness. The harder version is you start upside down, so feet on the chair, then you go flat, hands and feet on the floor, and then finally hands on the chair. So that's the set that I'm going to do. You're going to do 3 sets where you do as many reps as possible of each exercise, or as many good reps as possible. You're then going to give yourself a full minute to rest, and then you go again. We're going to go 3 rounds altogether. So feet on the chair was the one I'm going to go for. Harder version, off we go. So again, good reps is what we're looking for. Doesn't matter how many, it just matters that they are good quality reps. Now each stage should be a step down in terms of difficulty, so you move to a slightly easier version each time. And again, we're looking good quality. You swap over as soon as you've finished an exercise. That doesn't matter whether you've done 1, 2 or 20 reps. So that would take me a full minute to recover from there, and then I would basically do 2 more sets. So I've started my minute's rest. Right, I can't really, unfortunately, I would rather have 2 chairs. So if you do have 2 chairs available, set them up side by side so that you're not bashing your head off the back of the chair like I just was. Unfortunately, one of my chairs is being used for my cameras, and the other chairs are tucked in behind the table, so I'm not dragging them out right now. They can be left there for now. So again, should go hard, medium, easy, and you should be aiming for roughly between 3 and 8 reps on each exercise. If you're getting, way below or way above that range, it's probably too hard or too easy, depending on where it's at. I'm pretty much right in the middle, 5 reps, 5, 6 reps of everything. Okay, there's a minute's rest, so I'm going for set number 2. Yeah, play around with the variations, try not to rest too much in between. going to try a slightly different position on the chair. No, I don't think that'll work. I'll just have to go with it. Actually, better yet, I'm going the stairs. So if you have a set of stairs, stairs can end up being the same thing. So a minute's rest, and then we got my third and final set. So yeah, so actually, again, you know, maybe you live in an apartment, you've only got a couple of breakfast bars, you know, so you've only got stools, those twisty stools, they're no good to do it on. So what you could do, if you have a set of stairs nearby, set of steps, you could use them, so I'll demo that for the last set. But it's the same principle. Exact same principle. Feet elevated, feet flat, hands elevated. So for anybody that's familiar with weightlifting terms, this is like a drop set, but for a body weight exercise. So you can't literally drop weight off your body, so you actually mechanically make the move that little bit easier. If you're still using your chest and shoulders, I might actually have to open the door a little bit for this next bit. Hello. Okay, there's my minute's rest. I'm going into my last set. So feet elevated, hands on the floor. From there, flat, hands and feet on the floor. Whew, and last set, taking it out of me. And then hands elevated for the last set. Just trying to squeeze out as many good reps. Now when I say as many good reps, I mean as soon as you have to take a break, even for a second, that's the end of the set. It's not when you're about to collapse. It's as soon as you have to stop, as soon as you have to rest, that's the end of the set. So, in terms of strength work, that is us done for tonight. Well done, guys that are catching up with this on YouTube. Let me know, comment in the section below, let me know how you get on, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Obviously, as usual, any feedback, anything for your captains, anything for me, let me know. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Neil Gallagher Training. Other than that, guys, I will see you on Wednesday. Well done.